Hey crafty friends, it's Elizabeth from BBsButterfly, and I'm back, and I have let my graduation cap lid dry overnight, and I went ahead before I started recording and I put the paper that I had over the lid frame. And I believe this size was 7 1/4 by 1 3/4. And then I took some black satin ribbon that I had, and I used score tape on the back of it, and then I wrapped it around the seam where the hat top meets the lid frame. And then I had some paper from the All Dressed Up stack. I believe that's DCWV, and again, it's 7 1/4 by 1 3/4, and I went ahead and put that in there. And then the person I'm making this for is a big Doctor Who fan, so I made some embellishments with Doctor Who inspirational quotes. So the lid hat topper thing is finished. So that's what it's going to look like, except for the tassel. I haven't made the tassel yet. So the next thing we need to do is put the box together, the bottom of the box. And it is right here. Get my notes. The box bottom, you're going to need 2 12 by 12 sheets and 2 4 by 12 pieces. Because we're going to have to wrap it. So let me get some of this junk out of my way. I have scraps everywhere, pencils and scissors and tape and whatnot. All right, so the box sides are 7 by 4, and your chipboard, medium weight chipboard, you'll need 4 of these, and the box bottom is 7 by 7. So, if you know how to put a box together, then you're awesome. What we first need to do is to connect our 2 pieces of 12 by 12 so that the box bottom is in the center. And I'm just going to use some good old I think this is 1/2 inch. This is my Paper Mart tape. So I'm just going to lay that down. Peel the backing off and join these 2 12 by 12 pieces together. Pretty as straight as I can, but not, you know, I don't have to be absolutely perfect on this. Okay, so stick that down. And these 2 pieces that were the 4 by 12s, because the box bottom goes here, we need to be able to have our sides come up, but the paper is not big enough, so we have to have extra. Got all my stuff in the way. So we have to connect this piece of paper to the top and one to the bottom. So again, with my double-sided tape, it doesn't matter if it goes on top or bottom. I'm going to put it on top just so I can see where my tape is. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to do this out of frame because it's too far away from me. now your piece of paper looks like that. And we have to put one more down here, like that. All right, so now we have this big plus sign, like that. All right, so now we're going to put our bottom here and a side here, another side here, a side here, and a side here. And remember, you want to leave space so that your box can close up and make a box. So we're going to put tape on all of these pieces. All right, first things first. That's the bottom. So we take our 7x7 piece and we just kind of eyeball it somewhere close to the center-ish. We're going to cover it with paper anyway, so it does not matter. Then our 7x4 with just a touch of space, like so. Now we need some structure strips to go here just to provide some stability. So, you know, all those scrap 1-inch pieces that you have laying around, scored in half. And we're going to put sticky strip along the whole line. I'm going to use my 1/4 inch for this, just because it's easier. All right, I am back. So now we want to put these structure strips in these seams so that when we fold our box, it gives it some stability. So this is 7 inches. So I'm going to cut it at 7 inches, but then we'll taper the corners. So, or close to 7 inches. You know how it goes. So there's those. And I'm gonna fold along that score line. And then just taper your edges. And we're only going to stick it to the the side first. Then whenever we fold up the side, then we'll stick it to the bottom. Okay, now the next thing we need to do is to cut around our box pieces. Clean off this mess. I love this mat, except everything sticks to it and it doesn't move. Sometimes you just need to be able to slide stuff. Alright, so for this part, I'm going to take my ruler and I'm just going to draw some lines so I know where to cut. Like that. I don't know if you can see those lines. I don't know if you can see the lines, but it's basically the width of the ruler. So I'm going to cut all this excess off. So I've cut off all of the excess from around our box. And the next thing we need to do is to cut into our corners. And you don't want to cut all the way to the corner, but pretty close. So your box has some give, or so you can wrap it. Okay, now that we have our corners, the inside corners, now we need to cut the outside corners. So to do that, I think I'm going to do it this way. I'm just going to take 2 thicknesses of the chipboard and just line it up and cut off a triangle, or mark a triangle to cut off. That, and now I'm going to chop off these little corners, maybe. Okay, so now our box looks like this. Doesn't look much like a box right now, does it? All right, next, I think I want to use glue for this. Sometimes I have better luck with glue, so I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my Aleene's Tacky Glue for this, and I'm going to do the long sides first. Okay, so there's all 4 of the edges, and now we're going to do the sides. When we do the sides, though, now's the time when we're going to start bringing up our sides, and we're going to glue the sides together. So one's going to go on the inside and one's going to go on the outside. And so I'm going to bring up one, lay down my structure strip, and then I'll do the other one. So here's the first one. Just raise it up. Make sure that the chipboard, the side, doesn't go on top of the bottom piece, but right next to it. So you may have to like squish it a little bit to make sure it's flush on the table, and then stick down your structure strip. Okay, now it's like that. Now we're going to do one of the other sides so that we can start sticking our flaps together. Okay, again, make sure that that bottom or that side doesn't go on top of the bottom, but instead goes beside it. Okay, now we have to kind of train our little flappy doos here to go where they're supposed to go so that our corners meet and they look really nice. Okay, so to do that, we're going to put glue right here on this one. Work with me, glue. Work with me. Okay, so we make sure we're lined up. Sometimes it's easier to do it this way. Sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. Line them up so that they're right next to each other. Don't let it move. Probably would have been easier to do the outside one first. Live and learn. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to put glue on this flap. If my glue will stay with me. Okay. Just making sure all of the pieces long side go inside, short side goes outside. Okay. Make sure you burnish to get a good seal. And yes, my glue is squishing out a bit. That's okay. You want it to get all the way to the edge, and we're going to cover this with paper so it doesn't matter. Okay, there's the first side. So the way I did this is the flap of the long side will go inside, and the flap of the short side will go to the outside. I hope that makes sense. Now we need to put structure strips into the corners of our box, just to make sure and to clean up any crazy edges. So remember, these are 4 inches tall. So I'm just gonna eyeball 4-ish. Yeah. And I'm gonna put it right in this corner, like that. Because I really want to make sure these corners are nice and tightly held together. So we're going to do that on all 4 corners. Alright, so there's the box. Let's make sure our lid fits, otherwise we're in deep trouble. And it does. Look at that. Look at that bit of awesomeness. I think it's going to be perfect. It's going to be a little tight until we work it a bit, but that's going to be pretty freaking awesome. All right, now what we need to do is we need to line the inside and the outside with paper. So I have what is this? Ooh, I have this shiny black paper. Sorry for the glare, but that's kind of awesome. Although I think I want to save that. I think I want to save that. But I do have, set my paper next to my glass. I do have this paper, and it's like a bluish silverish color with stars in it. I think I'm going to put that on the inside of this because I have several sheets of this. It's like a weird, maybe it's mulberry paper. I don't know. But I do have several sheets of it that I think I will use. So we need to cut 4 that are 6 3/4 by 3 3/4 to go on the inside. So we'll go with the 6 3/4 first. And then we can do the 3 3/4. There's not a 3 3/4 on this cutter, which I don't like. So I kind of have to do my thing. 3 3/4. Making sure I measured that right. Okay. So let's double check. Yes, I think that's perfect. Okay, so there's the sides. I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty freaking awesome. Now we need to do the bottom, which would be 7 3/4 by 7 3/4. Okay, had to dig for that. All right. No, 6 3/4. I'm glad I remembered. That's a 7 by 7, not an 8 by 8. 7 3/4 by 6 3/4. Dang it, by 6 3/4. Silly woman. Make sure it fits. And it does. And there we go. And there's the inside of our box. How awesome is that? So, we need to put the lid on. We have an awesome graduation cap. Still have to do this part. I'm not sure how I want to do it just yet. I don't know if I want to use paper or something else, but it looks like an awesome graduation cap. And then when you open it, you have an awesome inside like that. All right. So that was finishing the lid and making the box. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.